gonna trouble the water. In the water. In the water, children. God's gonna trouble the water.
Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. No mother, no father, and the only child I had just drowned. It's a paradise transformed into a daily war. 202 years of freedom, free to rob, terrorize, kill, defamiliarize, defamily each other, ourselves, our only hope of escape. Escape dying in the struggle for life. It's the only successful slave revolt that has never ended. The revolution continues.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik yawmiddin iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. And the English translation of that is, in the name of Allah, most merciful and compassionate. All praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, most merciful and compassionate, Lord of the day of reckoning. You alone we worship, and you alone we seek help. Guide us in the straight way, the way of those you have blessed, not of those upon which is a wrath, or those who are lost. And with that, I welcome you to another episode of the History, Community Life, and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. I'm your host, Hassan Rashid, and we'll be here for approximately 25 more minutes. Okay, before we get into the subject of our programs, I'd like to remind you that the 41st annual celebration Martin Luther King Jr. Day is coming up. That's January 26th. Once again, January 10th, 3 p.m. Central Square Branch Library. That's at 45 Pearl Street. So you stay tuned to CCTV for more information on the 41st anniversary celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So it's annually every January. It's a tradition. Every January we celebrate Martin Luther King Day, one of the greatest civil rights leaders to ever walk on the planet Earth. Okay. Once again, I'm Hassan Rashid, and this is your History, Community Life, and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England. So we had a little difficulty getting started here today, but it's okay now. We're on here. We're out there. We got a broadcast to you. Okay. I'd like to start off with a little information on the Muslim American community in Eastern Massachusetts. Okay, right here, Eastern Massachusetts. Chief Justice Gant reassuring message. The Chief Justice Ralph Gant of the Supreme Judicial Court deserves great praise for making it clear that anti-Muslim invective and the hateful deeds it can spawn have no place in Massachusetts. Okay, once again now, a Chief Justice of Supreme Judicial Court, he went on record stating that anti-Muslim invectives and the hateful deeds it can spawn have no place in Massachusetts. Okay, Supreme Justice Court Chief Justice assures Muslims of protection, okay? As the leading figure in the Massachusetts judicial system, his strong, reassuring, and Jewish presence and support of our Muslim neighbors is important. His message also serves as a calm and rational response to the overheated rhetoric spawning from certain corners of the presidential campaign, okay, designed to fanfare and to attract worried voters. Of course, the San Bernardino and other acts of terrorists committed by American with guns in the name of some cause or none are awful. Of course, ISIS is a hideous criminal enterprise that needs to be stopped, but as Justice Gant made clear, we do fare better as individuals and as a community when we stand together in friendship with our Muslim neighbors. As we confront the challenges we face together, fear and distrust may serve some politicians' short-sighted campaign strategies, but it badly deserves our entire community, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Okay, so that was the statement made by the Chief Justice, that's a Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Court judicial system, and he said that anti-Muslim invectives and the hateful deeds it can spawn have no place in Massachusetts. That's those anti-invective and hateful deeds against Muslims has no place in Massachusetts. So I want to thank him for that and congratulate him for his position on that, as far as what we've been hearing in the media, all of the different invectives against Muslims in the media. Okay, the Ask a Muslim Girl, okay? You might want to ask a few questions about Muhammad himself, okay? Last week, outside the public library in Cambridge, Massachusetts, a personable, presentable, sweet-faced young Muslima. Now, you know what a Muslim is. That is it's a Muslim, but it's a female Muslim. And the female Muslims are in Arabic, it's the word Muslima is used to address or identify female Muslims, okay? So, sweet-faced young Muslima, one Mona Haider, stood for several hours with her husband Sebastian, a convert to Islam, offering donuts and coffee to passers-by under two big signs that read, "Ask a Muslim" and "Talk to a Muslim." Some of those passers-by did indeed stop and took part, she reported, in a meaningful, in a meaningful series of conversations about religion, politics, history, and sports. We have her word for it that these conversations were meaningful, for she does not provide any detail as to what the word meaningful might mean. And we don't know how much of that series of conversations was devoted to religion. Her aim was to just talk to people, to show them that we, Muslims, are just normal people. Okay, nothing detailed either about what being normal people might mean. Given that normal Muslims are taught by their scriptures, Quran and Hadith, to behave quite aggressively, even murderously towards other normal but non-Muslim people, precisely because many of those normal but non-Muslim people made the terrible and unforgivable mistake of not accepting the Quran, which is the Muslim holy book, in its true version, but only in a distorted and perverted version that goes by the name of the Bible, okay? that directly earned them Muslim aggression and hatred. We impede Mona Haider to this act of comical outreach, one which showed her that, after all, the non-Muslim community is loving because she and those non-Muslim passers-by all had the meaningful series of conversations about religion, politics, and it was apparently her perception that there is all this misplaced and misguided fear in America of Muslims on the part of a non-Muslim that made her bring out the coffee and donuts and stand around hoping to engage in a meaningful series of conversations with those non-Muslim who fears are entirely misplaced and neglected. So all this transpired right up in front of the Cambridge Library last week. That's Mona, That was Mona, that's right, Mona Haydar stood for several hours with her husband Sebastian, a convert, offering donuts and coffee to passers-by under two big signs that read "Ask a Muslim" and "Talk to a Muslim." So I take my hat off to my kufi off to in honor of Mona Haydar and her husband Sebastian, recent convert to Islam. Okay. Okay. I'd like to remind you once again. Interrupt our little presentation here, and to inform you that the Winter Farmers Market in Cambridge. I know you like fresh produce and etc. Dairy products, everything. I even heard that they have an alcohol license this year. That's the Winter Farmers Market. It is located at 5 Callender Street, right here in Cambridge, at the Cambridge Community Center. I think that's what it's called. But I'm telling you, this week, I'm not sure, but I know next week it will definitely be open January until April. Okay, January, April 2016. Okay. Okay. Getting back to our subject. Muslim Americans in New England, and news and information that's related to the whole mosaic of Muslims in Eastern Massachusetts. Okay, so this next item relates, U.S. Muslim group launches campaign to reclaim the meaning to True Islam from extremists. Okay, the True Islam campaign created by Ahmadiyya Muslim Community USA aims to correct misconceptions about the religion and unite Americans of all faith against extremism. People pray at the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community Batu Salam Mosque during an open mosque event in Hawthorne, California. Okay, so that's there's a photo to this article, but we don't have it right here for display on TV. Okay, a group calling itself America largest Muslim organization is fighting back against Islamophobia and extremism with a campaign containing 11 principles it says represents true Islam. True Islam and extremists, a campaign launched by the Ahmadiyya Muslims community this week, aimed to correct some of the most common misconceptions about religion and educate Muslims, non-Muslim Americans, and other faiths about the correct meaning of Islam. The campaign has been in development for several months, and the group has reached out to more than 2,000 American Muslim leaders. But President Barack Obama called earlier this month to the Muslim community to confront, without excuse, the real problem of extremism ideology within Islam. Accelerated the efforts, says Qasim Rashid, a national spokesman for the Ahmadiyya community Muslims. So I see the Ahmadiyya community, which is a spawn of true Islam. There are a lot of different sects of Muslims, so they're all jumping on the bandwagon condemning extremism, which is a good thing, I think. So that's just another spawn of Islam joining in the struggle, the movement to try to turn around, reverse Islamic extremism. Okay, I'll put it that way. Reverse Islamic extremism. Okay, Muslim woman set up Ask a Muslim. Okay, we went through that. Okay, here we go. We got another local issue, and a local article of interest to the community. This centers right here in Cambridge. Cambridge councillor fights for city and his faith. Okay, Cambridge City Councilor Nadeem Mazin was the first Muslim elected to government post in Massachusetts. Okay, I'm sure everybody in Cambridge is aware of that by now. Okay, even before extremists struck in Paris and San Bernardino, California, Mazin was defending his religion after an article by a group targeting Muslim leaders surfaced last month, accusing him of being a frontman for a terrorist group. Okay, since the massacre, Mazin said he has felt swept into the vortex of fear and heightened political rhetoric swirling around Muslims. The vitriol pierced his Twitter feed, his voicemail, and the support of all of his inner circle. It grew worse as GOP candidate Donald J. Trump said federal authorities should temporarily ban Muslims from entering the country. My first violent threat was a few days ago, Mazin recalled this month. Okay, it is my first violent attempt was he says my first violent threat was a few days ago, Mazin recalled this month, as a Muslim. Okay, it's an exhausting amount of work to do, and any public service position properly Mazin said. But on the other side, it takes harder work to be proudly Muslim. Mazin burst onto Cambridge political stage in 2013 when voters elected him to the city council. His grassroots campaign emphasized empowering the people. Cambridge wrapped its collective arms around him, returning him to office at the top of the ticket in November. And I welcome him back to office on the other side of the new year, which is 2016. Okay, welcome back, brother Nazim. Okay, I have the highest amount of respect for Nazim, said Jan Deveris, who founded the Fresh Pond Residents Alliance. He's a friend, he's a political ally. Deveris befriended Mazin after his first election victory, and he had encouraged her to run for the council. She did, and she won. Okay, Mazin, 32, is the son of Egyptian-born father Majid and Indiana-bred mother Michelle. Nadim was born in Normal, Illinois, and at the age of 5 moved with his family to Andover after his father became a professor at Suffolk University. The younger Mazin attended Phillips Academy and graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 2016 with a degree in mechanical engineering and a minor in applied international studies and biomedical engineering. At MIT, he stayed in Cambridge, where he launched 2 startups in animation design and video production, a firm called Nimbleblatt, and a design studio called Danger Awesome. Okay, that's a little bit more insight in our city councilman, who is a fellow Muslim American, and that is Nazim Mazin. Okay, so congratulations to him for winning the recent election and returning back to City Hall. Okay, Massachusetts Supreme Court assures support for Muslims. I think. Okay, we've been to this. Ralph Brandt. Okay, that's just a repeat of this. But okay, I'd like to remind you, Don, you got plenty of time if you make the annual rendezvous or treat to Chicago for the annual Muslim convention of the Masjid Ministry of Imam W. Muhammad and Mosque Cares program. Well, I just want to remind you early that you start getting prepared for that, because it's from September 2nd to September 4th, 2016. It's the annual Muslim convention that's coming up in Chicago. For all those who are members of the community who support or one way sympathize with the Mosque Cares Ministry of Muhammad. I just want to remind you now. Well, we're still early in the year that this conference is coming up, so start getting ready to make that annual journey out to the Midwest to this conference. Okay, we're gonna have more information about that as the year progresses, as the year grows, the year ages. Okay, kicking off our 25th annual Media Award Gala. Okay, that's the Muslim Public Affairs Council, and since 1991, the Muslim Public Affairs Council annual Voices of Courage and Conscious Media Awards Gala has honored artists, actors, activists, executives who use art and media to create enriching and humanizing portraits of Islam and Muslims, promote diversity and social justice, and inspire action. Okay, this year they are celebrating their 25th annual Media Awards and hope to make it a special one, but need your help and support. But need your help. Help them identify creative executives or projects worthy of this year's media award. They want to hear what films, TV shows, music, or books inspire you in 2015 and display accurate portrayal of Muslims and Islam. Submission of consideration should be sent to Hollywood at mpac.org. Once again, submissions for consideration should be sent to Hollywood at mpa.org by Monday, January 25th, with the subject line Media Awards 2016. Be sure to include your name, contact information, the name of the project or artist, and a link to the nominated material. Okay, submissions for consideration must include a release date between January 1st to December 31st, 2015, and fall under the following genres. Okay, film must have played in major market New York, Los Angeles, or Chicago. Television must have aired on a national or cable network. Music must be a music artist or entertainer with an established career and fan base. Books must have been published by a recognizable publisher. Theater must have been staged in an equity theater. And new media must be original work produced on a new media platform, podcast, web series, etc. Okay, past media awards recipients included in part award-winning journalist Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!, Alec Baldwin for his outspoken support for civil liberties post 9/11, Warner Brothers and Section 8 production of Syriana, Michael Moore for his documentary Bowling for Columbine, and VH1's Behind the Music and Music Use of Islam, Spike Lee for Malcolm X. Sincerely, Suhaid Obida, MPA, Director of Hollywood Bureau. Okay, so this is an invitation to join for submissions. Invite you to submit for considerations for projects, media-related projects. Okay, film, television, music, books, theaters, new media. So if you have any type of project which falls under that category, you should email it to Hollywood at mpac.org by January 25th, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more about that later on in the month from History, Community Life, and Diversity of Muslim Americans in New England, a Muslim parent guide to talking to children about acts of extreme violence. Okay, Muslim children are growing up in a challenging time in America. One nation is engaged in military conflicts in places with predominantly Muslim populations, and the domestic war on terror is focused disproportionately on Muslim citizens. There is also a surge in Islamophobia and hate crimes against Muslims in America. Round-the-clock cable news coverage combined with a constant exposure to social media contributes to a heightened sense of insecurity and urgency for all Muslims, especially Muslims. In this complex environment, it is important for parents of Muslim children to recognize their own needs and their children's needs. So start with yourself and be their anchors, okay? Children should be able to view their homes and families as safe environments. Adults who are distressed and fearful can convey those emotions to children. Children need calm, reassuring, and honest adult when they are feeling afraid, okay? Your relationship with children matters. Children only come to you to talk about the difficulties if you maintain a warm, loving relationship with them. Okay, evaluate your own use of media. Are you constantly watching the news and sometimes yelling at the TV when a policeman, a politician makes an outlandish comment about Muslims? Limit your own consumption of the news and social media if it is affecting you negatively. Take care of yourself spiritually and emotionally. Be careful about what you say in presence of the children. They may take your words literally. Avoid statement like, they think we are all terrorists, or I am moving out of America, unless you want your young children to accept these factual statements. Okay, so there's more to that, but since we're pressed for time now, where time is just running out on us, we'll try to continue that that subject at a different time. That's taking care of your children, okay? Okay, we've done that, and okay, so we're gonna just okay. Here's another one. I didn't want to. I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I really didn't want to read it on the air. But I'm going to try to read this. Okay, since we have a few more minutes left. The 190 Muslims fired at plant over prayer dispute. Okay, so this one is about the Muslims who want to pray, take time out during their working hours and pray, and they were fired. All 190 Muslims fired at plant over prayer dispute. Okay, 190 Muslims worked at the cargo meat plant in Fort Morgan have been fired. It comes as a result of a dispute over prayer while at work. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put that down. I'm Hassan Rashid. You know, I always leave you saying that the superior wisdom can never be subjected by inferior wisdom. So until I see you next time, I like to leave you with the ancient Islamic greeting of peace, and that is ISLAMIC.